You're still watching the program this morning on my TV. Of course, it's a delight each time you have our Femi Kuti on set talking about governance and democracy, especially when you make reference to back in the days when Fela was telling us the situation of the country and nobody listened, and that is where we are where we are today. This time around in our Abuja Network studio, we'll be looking at something different, but what affects everybody. A few weeks ago, we told you that we're doing a series of activities that will mark the 16 days activism. That's like gender against violence against women or girl child. And today is the last day of the 16th day activism, which is ending on the 10th day of December. And I have someone in the studio for us to look at activities or review some of the activities that took place during the time and what is the way forward in terms of girl child protection. She is Teresa Obozebe. Yes, Obozebe. So please pardon my pronunciation. The founder, Girl Champion Hub. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you were here with us in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So tell us, so far, what has been part of the activities that correlate these 16 days activities?
Okay, one of the activities that we carried out to make awareness about gender-based violence, we had the work from Women Affairs. We've done series of activities, even games to raise awareness about sexual and gender-based violence. And so far so good. We can say that our voice are being heard because with all throughout the process, we had different activities, those sitting on the meant places to actually get these things done. So I can say that we are advocating actually, like NGOs like Get Champion Hub, other NGOs trying to advocate for the betterment. One of the things is that education. We had series of NGOs, community, raising awareness, educating people, because one of the thing that is going to take away gender-based violence and rest is education. Because when people know their rights and know, they are going to foster their growth and ability, because what you don't know is what kills you.
So who were your target audience? You talked about NGOs, you talked to them, or those who are really affected by this violence, especially the girl child. How was your relationship with them? What were the response for those who did not really know that a day like this exists to protect their rights?
Some of them were actually shocked. Some are actually hearing it for the first time. That's why I said the last time I was here, I made mention of we feel people know things, but we bringing it up in campaigns, making it, we shouldn't just focus on the urban areas. Going to the rural areas also is going to help us eradicate this. So giving, some of them are just hearing it for the first time. Some do not even know that they have rights. So some of them got shocked, like you get to interact with them and all of that, tell them this and this. And there was someone I had to just hear in Buhari. I had an encounter with that young girl and we were talking. She was like, she's not going to read law because they said female cannot read law. That's not a female course. And I'm like, in this generation now, they are still, because we feel they know it, so we don't go close to that area. We just focus on the urban areas and just tell them this and this. So I feel that with time, even after the 16 days activism, we are still pushing for it. So I'm looking forward to going to rural areas where people do not get, we here, we have access to social media, we have access to radio, we have access to TV shows. Some of those people do not. So that's why we need partners to partner with us, because it is capital intensive. Okay, that's for NGOs to do this. But let's look at the level of violence against women in Nigeria. How disturbing is this? Going by, like you said, you were able to look to some of them. But statistically, how disturbing is this in Nigeria? Every 30 seconds, a girl child is being forced to get married. So we have like 32 million, if I'm not mistaken. That's Nigeria. Yes. So it is very disturbing. It is very disturbing. And when we talk about gender-based violence, it's not the forced marriage, choosing career, not allowing the female genders to be part of political and law enforcement implementation. They don't put us into economic growth because we still have that notion that women cannot sit in the front chairs. So it is rising so much. Even at your doorstep, you are seeing these things happen. A child is deprived of studying something they are supposed to study because they are female. A girl child is not allowed to do a certain career because she's a female. A girl child is not allowed to work. That's why when the poverty rates is increasing because women are backward. When you get married, the only job you are supposed to do is to take care of your children. You don't find money. And now, the critical and most annoying part of this, we now have men who want our girl child, women, to have a paying job. And now it's now contradicting because most of the girl child are already focused on, we just want to be an odogu wife. I don't want to work. I don't want to do this because it is there. They've made it a culture and it's actually a legalized, like I said, it's a legalized nonsense because that is not true. So we are trying and we are going to do it with the help of everyone. It's everybody. You have to know that you are not to be forced to get married. You're not to be forced to do what you're not supposed to do. You can reach every height of education, any profession of your choice. You have no limitations. So those are just what we are advocating for, and we are seeing that it's going to work.
No, all right. Talking about violence, now you talked about restriction in terms of career and jobs and all that. There are women or girl child that suffer violence and they don't speak out. So how do you get them to talk? Because you gave the statistics about 30 million. It might be more than that.
Yeah.
So there are people that don't really want to come out. There are some customs or tradition that restrict women from even speaking out. Now, how do you handle issues like this?
Okay, how we handle issues like this, like I can talk from my own end, like I can talk from Get Champion Hub. What we do, when we go there, we do different types of going out. We have the ones that when we go out, we just talk. You see that when you make them comfortable, after giving them the education about what to do, what not to do, let them know. Give them a safe space. Make them feel comfortable. The reason why most people don't speak out, it's because when they speak out, the stigma. You hear things like, and the woman where they beat. It's not something to laugh about. So we should keep a safe space for them. So because most of them get broken, and when they speak out, who takes care of them, for instance? So we should have like maybe a camp. Looking forward to having a camp where you take care of, because anybody who is physically or sexually violated goes through trauma, and to heal from those trauma, they need special care and attention to regain their confidence, to be able to stand out, because even when they are not in that state, it still rings a bell. It still rings a bell. I myself, for one, have faced several sexual harassments. Several, and it's not even the abuse, it didn't happen. And sometimes when I'm in that position, I feel unsafe, because sometimes when you want to, especially with the people who try to do all of these things, when you look, maybe for instance is your dad, how do you speak out? The mother is supposed to keep a safe space to accept conversation, create space for conversation. And I tell you, if you go to these rural areas to talk to these girls, they open up to you. They open up. I've had many who did not communicate, maybe during the section. They'll call you one side, you hear. There was a time I had a case of a young girl who has been sexually abused by someone known to their family, and she has kept quiet because of the fear of this person is providing and all of that. So if she speaks out, he's going to stop and all of that. She was sexually damaged, tear and all of that. So when she was able to open up, you don't make, why didn't you talk? Why didn't you do? The next thing is to make sure she regains her confidence, take care of her, and empower her.
But are there signs for women or girl child to notice if someone, like you said, most persons who are being violated could be family members?
Yeah.
Are there signs that someone could easily know that, look, such a person is going through difficult times or is being violated at home, that I might not be an activist, but I could see and I said, look, I can do something. What can an ordinary citizen do to see how to assist? Because we have to work together to reduce the number, 30 million so far.
Okay, one of the things, there's signs. There are signs that we overlook. One of the signs, you get to see them so quiet. So quiet. They are not socially inclined. They don't say hi to everybody. Do you know why? The fear. They always keep to themselves. They always keep to themselves because of fear that has been embodied in them. So that's one of the signs. Now let's talk about how we can actually, a normal individual, like individuals, some persons will be like, it's for the government. That's why when I founded Girl Champion Hub, I didn't have all the whole funds, but I had like-minded people. How normal, anybody can actually help to eradicate this gradually. One girl, imagine every day we save 2 girls from this continuously. What you can do is volunteering with your skills. Let's empower these girls. If you're a tech person and you can say, oh, Get Champion Hub, I want 3 girls or 6 girls who wants to learn these skills, and I'm going to do it for free. Now they are being empowered at that area. One of the other thing is, most of these girls do not have access to education. So if you can say, I'm going to be sponsoring girls back to school. Okay, some of them can be able to pay the 3,000, 2,000 naira. They cannot have materials. It's funny, but it's not funny because it is happening. They don't have materials, and you can decide, I want to be giving 1 exercise book. So through volunteering, through partnering, through sponsorship, through campaigns, working with community leaders and the rest, because we must go down below to be able to get this thing done. So that's how citizens who are not governments can actually help in eradicating this sexual-based violence.
Before we look at what government has been doing or what government needs to do more, and there is this other area that people tend to shy away of, don't look at. What will you really prompt someone to be asking? Some person will tell you that we don't ask why the men do this. We just assume that the woman has been violated or she's been abused, but we don't want to know why do men do this. Do you get to find out reasons why sometimes men get to abuse, either family members get to abuse their female daughters or sisters and all that? Why do we feel men do that?
Thank you so much for this question. I think I was asked this question the first day. We have several reasons why some men give, but they are not reasons. They are reasons, but can be tackled, and that's why when I still go back to saying education. Education does not mean being in the 4 walls of school. We lack good sexual conversations. We only train the girl child about those areas and forget to train the male child about it. So that's why when you focus more on training your girl child, she will go back, get married to someone who is not well trained, who is not well educated about all of these things, and thereby this issue keep occurring. So I feel parents, that's why most times on my live stream I talk to parents, because without parents we are going to do our best, but it starts from the beginning. When you're training your male child and your female child, let them know this, that to respect women is important. Have those sexual conversations. You should be the first person to have the sexual conversation with your child. Why? It helps. Those days we used to feel that it's bad. Like my mom, I would give that to my mom. She always had that conversation with us. So whenever anything like that, if not, I myself would have been abused several times because of the location. Environment has greater attributes to all of this. So when I talk about sexual abuse, I talk about it with a lot of passion because I have passed through some of this stage. So now, education, educate your male child, train them to respect women. Whether a girl strips, if you have had those conversations, whether a girl strips for you or someone, you wouldn't, because you are disciplined, because you have been taught how to keep up with yourself. That's why when I say there is no training, that's why you see a small boy of 10 years, 9 years, when a girl is a small girl that is like him, pull her clothes, you see some of them having erection. This education should start from small. That is it. It won't happen. When you build the mind of the male child, all of those things is going to be reduced. It's going to be reduced. So whether the girl dresses, one of the excuses they give is the girl is dressed exposure. Exposure does not mirror go. It doesn't. So it all boils out to trainings, strategies. You teach them when something like this comes, because they are growing. They are growing, all their organs too are growing and all of that. But you make them know that they are in control of themselves. So this education and we need to train men. Like I'm very serious, we need to train the boys so that you don't train your girl child and they get to suffer in the hands of them.
While we train the male child, there are other aspects of abuse. We've talked about the sexual abuse, physical abuse, where some persons tell you that the woman prompts him to attack or prompt him to slap. Yesterday there was a comment by the former, or rather the Sanusi, that's the Emir of Kano, where he said he tells his daughters that if your husband slaps you, you slap him back, don't come back home and start kind of slap. Do you think it's right that for a woman to have that kind of boldness to want to challenge your man, and then by the time the man retaliates, it's now become an assault or abuse?
Okay. I do not feel it is right totally, but I will not say it is wrong.
Okay.
Why I would not say that is because that's what I'm saying. When someone is well trained, there are a lot of things you don't do. Not that you can't do it, but because you know better. When conversations, definitely spouses have issues. So when that's why I said there's a lot of learning to be done. Communication skills needs to be acquired. Social skills need to be acquired. These are the areas we don't place value on in Nigeria. When they say come and learn how to communicate, they feel it's English. So when all of this, that's why now I like the segment about marriage. If those who actually are not forced into marriage, they go through a course. In those courses, they teach you how to communicate, how to tackle conflict. 2025 at Girl Champion Hub, we're going to be doing a course on conflict management.
Because before you know it, I have to charge you for advertising your...
Okay, sorry.
Let's look at going forward now. 2023, 2024. By next year, we're going to be having another new theme for another celebration. So going forward, what should we be expecting with all the activities and awareness that was created for this year? Next year, like I said earlier, we hope that the numbers will reduce. What do you think we should be expecting? Are we going to be seeing a reduction, or the cases will continue to rise?
We're going to be seeing reduction. Why I said so? Because just like I said, we've met people in rural areas who are not aware. Now, if they are aware, it reduces the outcome there. So we hope that people continuously get, sometimes when you know something, you just feel is enough to know. When you know it, you have to implement it. So we hope and pray that they implement it. If there is an implementation, individual implementation, and they say, oh, you can't study this course, you study it and make sure you make good grades in it. It reduces that aspect. It reduces that. And when you are well knowledgeable about not getting married by force, not getting married at the age of 9, all of that, without you knowing how to take care of yourself properly. You've never understand yourself. All of this is going to start reducing.
All right, I must thank you so much again, Teresa Obozale, the founder of Champions Hub. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
program.
you so much, sir.
And we hope that by next year we'll not be giving that alarming statistics.
Yes,
We'll
it's going to reduce.
All right, thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, this is where we draw the curtain on the program, or rather on the segment, our own segment from the Abuja Center. We'll be going back to Benin for the brief news on this Modern Light TV.